Chapter 1. It's summer, and I'm stretched out on a windowsill in my bedroom with the sunlight warming the fur on my back. It's quiet except for the drone of traffic on the Henry Hudson Parkway and the occasional whir of a helicopter flying along the river. I once shared this bedroom with my friend Gato Haman, the high priest of Amun-Ra. He and I had fled ancient Egypt on his magic boat. It was only supposed to carry us to a foreign land, but it took us through time as well as space here to Elena's house in 21st century New York City. Elena's late father had been a renowned Egyptologist, and she immediately recognized us as ancient Egyptians. She was surprised we were speaking English. We explained that the prayer which had launched the magic boat also gave us the power to speak the language wherever we arrived. She was also surprised that I, a cat, could talk and walk like a man. That would be explained later. Overjoyed at the prospect of excitement in her life, she invited us to stay with her. Now the high priest shares her bedroom, and I share this one with their child, who's the reincarnation of the pharaoh I loved thousands of years ago. He's on the floor, playing contentedly with his building blocks. It's hard to believe he's already a year old. Elena is reading and keeping an eye on him. "Rapa Haman, are you recharging?" she asks, as she always does when she sees me basking in the sun. "You lazy old cat." "Lazy, yes. Old, not yet," I reply, too drowsy to say more. When I first met the pharaoh, he was 16, and I was a stray tomcat. I'd wandered into a looted tomb and was kicked by the vizier, his uncle. I spat a cat amulet at him, hitting him on the forehead. He accused me of trying to kill him. The high priest arrived and tried to reason with him. Then it happened. I suddenly had human powers. I stood upright, walked over to the vizier, and debated with him. The pharaoh entered the tomb to hear me wisecracking and laughed for the first time since his parents' death. He took me to live with him at court, and we became inseparable. A year later, the vizier poisoned him and accused me of the murder. He was going to put me to death when the high priest rescued me. We fled Egypt on the magic boat and ended up in Elena's living room. One night, 2 weeks after our arrival, the high priest and I were talking about our despair over the loss of our beloved pharaoh when Elena suddenly recalled a memory from her childhood. On the night her mother died, she'd witnessed her father standing over the body and reading aloud in a foreign language from a piece of yellow paper. She realized now that the paper had been a papyrus and that her father had been reading an ancient Egyptian spell to revive the dead in an attempt to save her mother. The high priest believed that the spell had failed because not even an Egyptologist would know how to pronounce ancient Egyptian correctly, and that if we unearthed the pharaoh's mummy and recited the spell, the pharaoh might be resurrected. But we couldn't find the papyrus. That would have been the end of it if the high priest hadn't remembered a ritual called the Entering, which would enable him to place himself inside Elena's memory and listen to her father reciting the spell. I again feel my relief when the high priest retrieved the spell. He then composed a new prayer to launch the magic boat so we could return to Egypt and resurrect the pharaoh. I again feel my pain when we left Elena. In the 2 weeks we'd spent with her, we'd come to love her. Back in Egypt, we learned that the vizier had usurped the throne and now ruled as a tyrant. We eventually made our way to the pharaoh's tomb and removed his mummy from the sarcophagus. The high priest recited the spell, but nothing happened. Until the cat goddess Bastet, who had given me my human powers, appeared and said that for the spell to work, I had to be willing to give my life for the pharaohs. "Yes!" I cried. But I didn't die. Bastet only wanted to see if I could love a man more than myself. I again feel my joy as the pharaoh was resurrected, and my terrible pain when, having killed the vizier in battle, he returned to the world above. The high priest, with me at his side, tried to govern Egypt in the pharaoh's place, but the vizier's former allies were too powerful. Finally, we had to go into hiding to avoid being killed. But that's all ancient history now, literally. The high priest and I used the magic boat to return to Elena, who told us she was carrying the high priest's child. I knew immediately that the child was the reincarnation of the pharaoh I'd loved. I could smell his odor, like the blue lotus coming from her womb. Elena and the high priest soon got used to the idea that their unborn baby was the pharaoh. The high priest wanted a name for him which would reflect the pharaoh's past. Son of the Sun, True of Heart, or Speaker of Truth. Elena had other ideas. George, James, or Stephen. No one asked my opinion. Elena and the high priest finally agreed on Alexander. She was pleased because it was her father's name. He was pleased because the most famous Alexander was called the Great. Because I hadn't been consulted, I didn't tell them I approved. Alexander was born, the pharaoh reborn, and Elena, the high priest, Alexander, and I are a happy family. I hear the little pharaoh cry and look down at the floor. He's disappeared. I jump down and rush out of the bedroom to find him. He's standing in the middle of the landing, his legs wide apart, his diapers hanging heavy under him. Elena has started toilet training him, but on occasion he has a relapse. It's hard to accept that the little one with full diapers was once a tall, strong, handsome king. Elena has also come out of the bedroom and is standing between us. Rapa Haman, help me change Alexander. Depending on the occasion, I walk on either my hind legs or on all fours. I always go down on all fours when I need speed. I make a quick getaway by scurrying past Elena, jumping over the safety gate at the top of the stairs, and racing down to my hiding place, the cupboard under the staircase. Once inside, I begin to relax. It's happened, rarely, thank the gods, that I wasn't fast enough and Elena cornered me and made me help her change the little pharaoh's diaper. I nearly fainted from the smell. I love the little pharaoh, but there are some things a cat shouldn't be asked to do. It's bad enough I have to clean my own litter box. One could ask, as I often have, why doesn't the father help? But Elena says we shouldn't disturb Gato Haman because he's busy. Busy? The ne'er-do-well is just reading. He's studying, she says. Let him be. I'll stay in the cupboard for a while. The little pharaoh used to fill his diapers constantly, and I've spent many hours hidden here, reminiscing. I hear Elena's footsteps on the stairs. Puss in Boat, where are you? She's using my nickname to charm me out of my hiding place. No, my dear, it won't work. Rapa Haman? No more sweet nicknames, eh? I hear her go back upstairs. She's given up, but I'll stay put. It's so warm and cozy in the cupboard that I fall asleep, only to be awakened by sound of an opera playing on the record player in the library, just as Aida was playing both times the magic boat arrived in Elena's living room. But I don't recognize this opera. I leave my hiding place and go into the library to find Elena and the high priest sitting together on the couch, with the little pharaoh between them. The high priest is snoring slightly, the book he was reading open in his hands. I join them and sit on Elena's lap, and she welcomes me with a cuddle. One of the nicest things about her is that she doesn't hold a grudge. What's this opera called? I ask her. Norma. What's it about? Norma is a druid high priestess. She's broken her vows by having a secret love affair with Pollione, a Roman proconsul. She's also betrayed her people. They want to go to war with the Romans, and she's kept the peace with them to protect Pollione. But now he loves a young Vestal virgin. Poor Norma. Yes, and poor Pollione. He won't give up his lover, and Norma declares war on the Romans. He breaks into the sacred cloister of the Druid virgins, is caught, and brought to Norma for judgment. A human sacrifice is needed to ensure victory over the Romans, and Norma's father, the chief of the Druids, wants her to kill him with the sacrificial knife. So a Roman would be sacrificed to ensure victory over the Romans. Very neat. Yes, but it doesn't happen. Norma lies to her father. She says she wants to interrogate Pollione, But once alone with him, she promises to spare him if he will return to Rome without his lover. He refuses, and she threatens to have the woman burnt at the pyre. The vizier wanted to bury me alive? Both are horrible ways to die. Norma is just as evil as the vizier. No, she's not evil, Elena says. Quite the contrary. Pollione begs her to spare his lover, and in the last scene, she tells the druids she has a new sacrificial victim. A priestess who has betrayed her people and broken her vows. Herself! Incredible. It's so tragic. Elena listens more intently as the voices of Norma and Pollione become more passionate. A pyre is being built for her now. Norma is telling Pollione death will reunite them. He's professing his love for her and begging her to forgive him. As she's led to the pyre, he joins her to die with her. We listen as the opera comes to an end. There isn't a dry eye in the house, except for the little pharaoh, who's too young to understand, and the high priest, who's still fast asleep. Elena blows her nose. I'd better make dinner. Good idea. I'll help you. Oh, so now you want to help me, eh? The sarcasm isn't lost on me. I get off her lap and give her an exaggerated bow to apologize for deserting her earlier. Let's go, she says, laughing. She gets up and puts the little pharaoh on the floor. As I turn to follow her, he pulls my tail. Wappa, ma'am, I love you. I love you too, Alexander. At night, I dream of a lady dressed in bluish-gray garments. She's screaming, and I can still hear her screams when I wake up. Have I been dreaming of Norma? Or is this an omen?